Hi everybody, this is Pramita here, and this is the part 2 or the final part that we'll be working on for this insert. So this is where we had left this, and we're going to continue with this part. So let me look for some more scraps that I can use inside the piece that we are working on. So I would rather go with something more plainer, so that you can do a lot of variations. But yeah, so I think I'm going to stick with these pieces and see if I need anything. I'll definitely dig into my stash more. So so for the inside now, remember the one that I had shown before, it had a pocket like this. So I'm probably going to create a pocket over here. So for that we can definitely use something. So this is pretty plain, so I would not use that. We can use something like this, but this is pretty narrow. So let's see what we can use if I have a bigger scrap. So how's everybody doing? I hope you have watched the first part. If you have not watched the first part, I'll put a link in the description box below where you can watch the first part of this video. So this can be used as a pocket, so let's try and use that. Or you can use something like this. So well, let's try and use something like this, not use something like this. This was actually from TLC creates vintage, and I am using this. I will be using this as a pocket. You can make small booklets also, but since I'm not working on any project which is close to this kind of coloration, so I'm going to use this because I'll tell you the reason why I'm using this piece. Because look at the colors. So if I'm working on a project using these kind of colors, I can definitely use this as an ephemera. These are great ways to build your ephemera pieces also. The next one, I'll show you how I have created master boards, and then I have made these kind of inserts. That's going to be another part. So this will be the pocket. So I'm just going to cut this down. Okay, I'm going to cut this down. Don't worry about these because I will cut this portion off, so I'm not worried about that. And this part, since this is going to be a very busy sort of section, for this part I'm going to be taking something very neutral, something like this, so that it evens out everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just eyeball this, fold this a little bit for the edge of the pocket, and this will be the pocket. Okay, so for this part I don't need to put the entire piece. I can just use a tiny piece, and again I'm going to eyeball this. I don't need to be perfect, that's okay. Okay, so I'm just going to be eyeballing this. This is some background paper I had from one of the projects. So this can be the bottom part, and for the top, okay, so for this let me do one thing. First I'm going to glue this portion where I'm going to punch a hole, not a hole, sorry. I'll just punch some half circle. I am using an 1-inch punch for this, but you can, if you don't have a 1-inch punch, you can always use something circular, and then you know, it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is my thingy, but the thing is that this is pretty wide, so I'll have to trim it from both the sides. So this is not what I wanted, but anywho, so this is going to go in here. No, where did I keep that part? Okay, so I'm going to be adding this. Okay, and then I'll add this. So this is going to be the pocket. Okay, and then this part, so I'm going to keep this aside a little bit, and then for this one, what I can do is I can create a side tuck using this. This is from the Spring Garden Collage Sheets. Okay, and this will be the side tuck, and on this portion I can cover with I don't know, like something like this. Okay, so this is from After Midnight Designs. Okay, so let's start collaging, and then we'll see where this goes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this a little bit. I don't need these parts. Okay, and let's start putting things down. So I'm going to be using like this. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just collage on this side, because I am creating a pocket on this side, so I don't need to glue any paper on that side. But if you want, you can, basically, if that bugs you. I need to have my card. I had a card over here. Okay, I keep losing these older cards, either losing or breaking. So if you have not watched the first part of this, I'll put a link to that video in the description box. You can check that out. Okay, and if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then please subscribe. This would mean a lot to me. And I'll also put some links to my favorite shops where I buy things down in the description box. You can check that also and support small sellers like me, or you know, it doesn't matter whether they have sold more or less, but those are my favorite shops, my go-to shops, you can say. So again, I'm going to put this. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cover the fold, because it might look a little bit ugly at joints. It might not. So I'm just adding this piece, and at the end I'm going to trim off all the extra bits, so I'm not worried. So I'm going to just add this. Okay, and so I'm going to see, I broke the card. I'm getting stronger day by day, it seems. So I will stitch around this and show you how it looks in the end, but for now what I'll do is I'll just trim off the excess. See, I still have this part left where I have not done anything. I totally forgot about it because I have decided to put the pocket, so you won't be able to see this. So that's done. And for this one, what we'll do is we're going to add this as a side tuck. Okay, so I'm going to cut this off because basically it is kind of a blankish paper. And again, for this, what I'll do is I'm going to back this on another strip of paper. It can be book page, anything, you know, the edge. I usually glue some sort of a paper at the edge so that the pockets are a little bit sturdier. And you can, if you have printed this on a thicker cardstock, you can totally skip this process, but I like to do this because this makes the edges a little bit. You can even use washi tapes in cases if you don't want to glue pages or anything, but personally I like to add a strip of extra paper towards the edge. So that's done. So that's going to go over here. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here. This is going to be the pocket. So I think I need to straighten this up. Take out my trimmer. So I hope to upload regularly because I had fallen into a kind of rut, you know, with all my new classes scheduled. I was really having hard time finding out what should I do, like how will I be able to keep up with the filming schedule and stuff. But anyways, I have figured out certain things, and hopefully things will be a bit more organized from now on, hopefully. So this is the pocket. I'm going to stitch all around, so obviously this will get all glued up. Okay, and towards the bottom we have the, oh my god, I have that sticky, it really bugs me. And at the bottom I'm going to put a pocket, as I said. Where did I keep that pocket? Just created that one. Okay, so here it is. So I'm going to put this towards the center. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll just eyeball it, and I'm going to use my trimmer. Okay, and then I'm just going to okay, let's see what happens. So I think this is a little bit wider. That's okay. So now what I'll do is I will stitch everything down, and so I'm going to be putting this like so. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this up. So what I usually do is I'm going to stitch the parts which, like, I'm going to stitch this side first, and then I'm going to put it on this flap, fix it with some clips, sewing clips, and then I'm going to stitch around it. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to stitch the top part first, then I'm going to stitch all around it while I put this down, so that I don't have to do it twice. Also, I have this pocket ready, so I'm going to stitch this and just glue this down. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is ink everything up, because once I sew them down I won't be able to have access to certain parts. So I'm going to be inking all the edges. Now again, I'm saying you can totally skip this part of inking, not the inking, yes, the inking also, but the sewing part. But for me, I like to do that, but it's not necessary, it's not mandatory. You can totally skip that. Okay, and this is the edge. So you can see how I have tried using up all these scraps and made small inserts. So I'm going to close this. So next I'm going to stitch all around this, stitch the pockets separately, and then I'm going to be adding them. So I'll show you after I've stitched the insert and the pockets, and then I'll again show you how I plan on stitching everything down. So now I have stitched all these pockets separately, as you can see, and also I have stitched this. So after I finish putting down the pockets, I'll probably add a few more labels, you know, considering the empty spaces, but let's see what happens. So I'm going to stitch all these pockets down, and then I'll come back to show you the finished result. So I have stitched everything down. I'm just going to walk you through the entire thing. This was the pocket that we intended to put in, which I did, and this is the lace bit that I have just added. This was just a scrap piece. I have something similar like this, so I keep these scraps in a box where I constantly dig in for, you know, adding tabs and stuff like that. So that's that. And then when you open this, you have a side pocket over here. I'll just show you. You can put something here, and it is pretty big and roomy, so it's totally up to you how you want to use this. And I'm probably going to put a few labels over here and there, which is going to come in the later part. Here you have a journal card that can go in, and then at the back you have another pocket which is pretty substantial, as you can see, and you can put something in too. And if you decide that you want this to be to have another pocket, you can obviously add another pocket, but personally I'm not going to put anything over here. I think it's looking pretty nice, and this is how our insert, see how different they are in sizes, because this was a little bit wider and this I wanted to make it slimmer. I think I like this one better size wise, and of course there's no harm in making these kind of, you know, you can make in different sizes for your different kinds of journals. So that's that. And this one is more on the shabby tone, this is more on the florally collage sort of thing. So both are nice, both are a little bit different. So we're going to make a few more. In the next part you'll see me working on something very similar, but they are going to be more on the masterboard sheets, because I have a lot of masterboard sheets that I have created, which I've cut down to make ephemera like this, you know, which can go into journals. And if you want, you can add some little papers over here, just like a sampler sort of thing, or you can just insert this in your signature also. You can put things like this in the signature also, they would look nice. I'll just show you what I mean by this, just a second. So I'm working on this journal. I'll just give you an idea. So if you want, you can add them as inserts also, and that instantly gives your journal a different kind of look. So in that case you have to keep in mind the length of the journal. So see how different it's looking. You can put it this way, and you know, the way that I've collaged, it doesn't matter. You have a huge pocket over here, and then over here you have a side tuck, and then when you open this, you have a pocket over here. So you can make these in a bunch and keep them. And the main idea behind this was to use up all sorts of odd sized papers that I have in my stash. I really need to use them up very soon because I'm drowning in them. And also I had these you know, these junk papers, junk mail paper sort of thing, which needed to be, you know, used as bases. So that's that. So I will be making some like this, and I already have some pre-made. I'll just give you a look. I think I had some, I hope, yeah. So I had some already done over here. Some are journal cards, some are mini booklets of sorts. So I'll work on those, and I'll show you how I'm going to embellish these. I have a lot more, and I'm I am super ashamed to say that I have not been able to work on these. So I have a bunch of these. I don't know where I kept them, somewhere here.